All right, I'm going to go straight into the facilities update. So one of the items you had in your package was the final pricing that came in for the NSCS edition. The price with all the contingencies, this is worst case scenario, is $3.1 million. We fully expect it to come in under $3.1 million. The plans have been reviewed by RIDE. They're good to go. They've been reviewed by the town planning office, good to go. We're going to have our test bits for foundations will be coming up in a couple of weeks. So everything for that part of the project is on board and moving forward. Now the other part of the project, the science labs, that is a little bit more problematic. So we have the pricing from Gilbane and Studio J came in for the original plan that we had worked on last year. And that was sort of an L shape, taking the science labs as they are right now, across from the library, and then down one hallway, and turning 7 labs into 6 labs. The price that came in for that is about $4.5 million, which was actually less expensive than I believe what SMA had projected. All right, so came down a bit. So then we started looking at other configurations, and another configuration is the 3 labs in front of the library, and then second floor, right above that, are 3 classrooms. Home ec, art room, and then kind of a room that's split and has 2 English classrooms. Going above, it's actually right here. So this is one of the plans. There's a number of plans. So that gives the benefit of when we stack the labs, it shares a lot of the same plumbing and electrical and infrastructure. Plus, the second floor, those rooms have more square footage. They make for bigger rooms. The price to stack them is approximately the same as doing the original plan, at $4.5 million. However, the price per square foot goes down. But it's still at a point which is outside of the budget. So what we're looking at now is a combination of new labs plus refurbishing current labs. Right? So we're trying to get the right mix, the right balance in this. We're also looking at reducing the amount of labs and using more shared space. So again, the cost is driving this. The schedule is going to drive it. We're getting a lot of feedback from the science teachers on exactly what do you need, what can we update and refurbish versus what we can replace. So ultimately, we should be settling down into something pretty quickly. The plan that you see on the board behind you calls for, here's the first floor, where we have the 3 current science labs. Let me just, so these are the rooms that are in place. And for our science labs, these are our larger rooms. This was the L shape. If we stack them, a model we're looking at right now is to create 2 brand new labs on the second floor, and for the time being, leave the home ec room in place. These will give 2 great big modern state-of-the-art labs. We're looking at possible chemistry for them. One of the plans we have where the current art room is on the second floor, we're going to take these 2 rooms over here. This is a language lab, which isn't being utilized to its extent. So the option would be to close that down. This one right here is a special ed room, which can be, it's a regular classroom, can be moved, and turn it into a large double art space. Over here, which used to be the old science lab, the current science labs, will be refurbished as additional classroom space with a STEAM lab over here. Now, one of the options is that if we move math classes in here, and as the curriculum ties in and draws together math and science, we have that STEM curriculum, and these renovations would also be eligible for ride reimbursement. But what it basically comes down to, letting you know at this stage, is that to refurbish all the labs and do it right, there is just not enough money in the budget. What we can do is carve out and create brand new spaces, large science labs, and then refurbish and update some of our better ones that are currently in place. But this also falls into line with how we utilize space through the school. You know, what class is located in what section, what departments are working collaboratively with one another, and take it the next step forward. So even though we don't have all the money, we can make vast improvements to the building.
Does anybody remember what the original estimate was? What did we put in the budget? I mean, on the bond or?
So it was $4 million, $4.3 million to extend NSCS, to refinish the science labs, and then to do the locker room.
The locker rooms would have been $800,000.
We have our more recent price on the locker rooms was about the $400,000 right now.
Right.
The original, I think, was center, I think, it sounds right. Yeah, it's been a while. But
So let's even say it's $1 million. You have $1 million. You're gonna get it done.
Right.
I mean, clearly, we can't even look at $4 million.
No, so what we're looking at is that we anticipate NSCS will come in under the original projection.
Right.
And then utilize that money, again, still fixed within the bond, tie it to the monies that we're committing within the fund balance to that, and then also leverage the reimbursements out of it. So now we only get the reimbursements out of the money that's in our fund balance. The money that was in the bond reverts back to the town. They'll retain the reimbursements. So we're going to have to do a phased-in approach, and no, we cannot make everything brand spanking new.
Right. Are you sure that money doesn't revert back? I thought they gave authority to revert it back to feed back in. I thought they gave us that authority.
Now, my understanding was that any monies would go back to paying off the debt.
So what happens is, it's paid back by right over a whatever year period, so it really wouldn't make a difference. Versus the fund balance, we can pay back on years.
Right, especially with the passage of the statewide bond for school construction. They're also implementing a pay-as-you-go, or reimburse as you go, so we don't have to wait a year to get the monies reimbursed. It will happen, it can happen on a monthly basis once they get everything set up at that area.
I think we have to move on. We have to do the best we can with the amount of money we have.
Absolutely.
But I mean, we've got to move on.
Right.
Anybody have a different?
What we ideally want to have in place is to have this finalized, to have it go before RIDE, to have them approve our final plans. And we would like to start this, and again, it depends on the scale and the scope, in the spring, go through the summer and have it done for the opening of the next school year.
It has to be done.
Yes.
I'd like to see it start in December, but in this break, but that's not going to happen.
Well, it also depends on the plan that we settle on. So for example, this plan that's up on the board creates a lot of swing space. We can start moving and start renovating some areas in December, January to make room for the next phase. So, like I said, we're just not finalized yet. We have a couple of hurdles to overcome, but we have between Gilbane and Studio Jade, and we have a lot of creative minds looking at the possibilities and how to shave funds down.
Let me tell you what at least my philosophy is. I think that we need to get this done. And then we need to deal with the windows. There's $250 million out there.
Right.
The governor. As long as it takes this to get done, I'm hoping that we don't run out of money. Well, the state doesn't run out of money, so we can get the windows done or whatever else we need done, so that we can make sure that that building lasts another 50 years.
I've asked the commissioner if, will they run out of money? And there are a lot of districts doing some major projects, you know, $200 million high schools and such. And I'm told that it's fine. There will be money there, and it's not going to be just eaten up by the urbans. So, but you're right. There is a little window of opportunity, and we can't move into the second phase until we get this piece behind us.
When all of these plans are said and done, are they going to meet our needs, and are we going to be happy?
Oh, I believe so. I mean, would I like to do everything brand new? Yes. I know when a number of the schools I looked at Providence, that when they redid their science wings in their high schools and middle schools, they budgeted about $9 million per school. So we were already under, which is typically what would be. But what we can do with what we do have will be really good and certainly much better than what we have. And we do have a pretty amazing science department. I mean, they're going to do some very good work with you know, their new facilities and refurbishing the ones that they already have.
What you said that the cost is driving this, and that scared me, because what that brings to my head is Hollowell. And I just don't want to be in that kind of a situation again, because we don't have the money to do it right.
Agreed.
Thank you. That's right. So we can go back now to the taxpayers and try to vote on the $9 million in the last.
Good luck on that one.
Might start the recall petition right now.
Recall petition.
All right, let's see, that's facilities, strategic plan update. A couple of items in this, and I'm going to go through it quickly. This actually dovetails with some of the things that Mr. Clifford brought up. So, first thing I wanted to have you take a look at were our enrollments. I want to just pass that over. And I apologize, I didn't get this in your packet, so I'm just giving this to you as informational.
Mike, do you have a copy? You want one?
Yeah. Sherry, do you have one for me?
I do.
There should be
So, last year, on October 1 of 2017, we were in the middle of a population spike. And so, you can see on the first page or on the screen behind you, there's a trend line of our October 1 numbers over multiple years. And so, in 2017, we were at 1,718 students. And yes, NESDEC did do a projection that the end of our declining population was done, we had leveled out, and we were increasing. However, fast forward to this year, in October 1, we have 1652. Right, so we had a net loss of students. In comparison, the next spreadsheet, the next table over, I have a breakdown from October 1 to October 1 of the students entering, enrolling in our system, and the students exiting our system. And it's broken down by grade level. And so from October 1 to October 1, last October 1 to this coming October 1, we had 260 students leave our district, and we had 212 students enroll in the district. So we had more students leave than came in. Now, of the students who left, and this is the next tab over, we track students using a number of different codes and circumstances why they would leave. So the ones that affect the population in the district, not building to building or program to program transfers, is, first of all, code number 2. So these are students that transfer to an outside district in Rhode Island. And there were 75 students that they went to other school districts. Now, of the 75, 67 moved out of North Smithfield. Families just left. And we had 2 students go to Davies, which is new for us because we never had, we always used to feed Woonsocket Career and Tech, but now under the new Wild West of programs and tuitions, and now Davies is in the mix for competition. So we had two students go to Davies, and 6 go to Woonsocket Career and Tech. We had 26 students transfer out of state. So they left, they went out of state. And then we also track transfer to private, non-religious schools in Rhode Island. So that would be your Wheeler and so on, 7 students. Transfer to private, non-religious schools in a different state. Transfer to private religious in Rhode Island. So there's your LaSalle's and Anglicans and Mount St. Charles, 16 students. Transfer to private in different states, and so on. Transfer to a different country. Transfer to a charter school, 12 students. Transfer to homeschooling, 9. Graduated, 95. Discontinued schooling, these are 2 students who just dropped out. The next 2 are very problematic. Moved unknown, reason unknown. And yes, we have students who they just disappear. The families leave, and they don't tell us where they're going. No school ever requests transcripts or records from them, and they're gone. So unfortunately, that does count as a dropout for us. That's added to our dropout point. Now, to give you an idea of my previous life in Pawtucket, we would have over the summer alone 1,000 students move in and 1,000 or more students move out, along with maybe up to 60 or 70 reason unknown, and we had to do some really serious detective work to track them down. All right, so, but what we have here, though, is a breakdown of the 260 students that left. Now, question would be that Mr. Clifford brought up. Something in the town affect, people moving in versus people leaving. So we do send, when we do the NESDEC projections, we do send a series of questions over to the town planner, and the town also feeds information. So that is something that, yes, I would like to take a look at and try to pin down what happened to our spike that was going to continue to our spike that turned into a deficit of students. Because outside of just having these projections done, when we lose students, that has financial ramifications for us. And that's the thing I'm really trying to hone in on right now. So this next screen is the number of students that we have going to CTE and charters, career and tech schools. And here's where it gets problematic with projections. So it goes across multiple years, all the way back to fiscal year 16. When we were putting the budget together for this year, we just jumped down to totals. We had budgeted based on historical trends and guidance from the Department of Ed, because the Department of Ed sends us projections as well. 67 students. We have right now 77 students that we're paying tuition for. So there's 10 more students than we budgeted. And you can see the general trend from 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19 to the current is this general upwards trend for paying tuitions for kids out of district. Now, what's happening in here is that we have increasing competition. There are some new schools on the list, Davies, for example. But the other thing that's happening too is that the career and vocationals and others, they're increasing their prices. So when we're tuitioning students out, it's costing us more and more money. The other thing that we're having with this outplaced tuition is with high-cost special ed. We are a small district, a small school. There's only so many services that we can offer. So there are a number of students who have such needs that we need to, go to an outside place. And this year, currently, we have 22 students in out-of-district special ed tuitions. Last year, we had about the same. The year before that, we had maybe 17 or 16. Our outplacements are growing. And that's from a couple of reasons. Number one, and again, this